Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it's March 16th of 2024. I think I think it's the 20th. I probably can't hear me, I got my back turned to you, but I think it's the 20th that I'm having my cataract surgery done on the 20th, and today is the 16th. 7th, 14th. Okay, yeah, the 20th. So it won't be very long, and I'll be going through the left eye, and then I'll be, then of course take some time to, and I'll have a good left and a good right eye, if with luck. I already have a good right eye. That surgery worked out well. Anyway, the surgery for my right eye has worked out well, and the left eye should do just as well. And so I'm going to have a really good eyesight at whatever my age is. This month I will be 83 years of age. I went outside to check my mailbox, and I lucked out. I went out when it really wasn't raining. So I took a couple pictures with my cell phone. I had some trouble. Well, you've heard about I'm not going to go back into the past. Anyway, I'm now using a Moto, one that's a few years old. It was new when I got it. I got it a few months ago or whatever, but it's an older version. But anyway, I went out and I had a friend. I still have a friend, young guy, lives a block or so over this way, and I'm still having some trouble with, even though this eye has improved, the other eye is not, and they'll both have to be working together really. But I went out and I took a picture. Oh, anyway, this friend, in fact, he's going to be going. Somebody has to go to the eye doctor when we have the surgery. When I have the surgery, somebody has to go with me. Somebody who can drive, because I'm not going to be able to drive, and somebody that's going to, make sure that, everything goes okay. Kind of responsible for me for a while. Anyway, I took a picture outside. Here's the camera. And let me go over here to the picture. There it is, outside. So let's see what kind of a picture you get. That's me. Okay, and then I took another one, so let's see if I can, there it is. Yeah, I think this other one is better. Well, it doesn't look better when I'm looking at my monitor screen. It doesn't look that great. So, just for your information and to show you how the nation works or whatever, for these two surgeries, the one that I've had and the one that's coming up, my insurance pays for just about everything except $200. I had to come up with $200 for this operation, and I didn't really have $200, so my oldest daughter, gave it to me, and for the other $200, a longtime friend of mine, is giving it to me to take care of that. I hope to pay them both back, but realistically, will I be able to? Because now there are some other costs that I haven't paid yet. I haven't been billed yet for them. Like when both these eyes are done, then you go there and it's like a place where people get glasses and that kind of stuff. In fact, that's what it is there. That's there, but you go in and you have a whole bunch of choices, and they haven't told me what it's going to be, but it should be a reasonable price, and I can decide. Now somebody can go in there and decide, well, I want such and such when it comes to the glasses. I already told them, but of course, you don't have to stick with that, but you can have all kinds of improvements made to, I know you can have at least, telephoto ability, with, and I think you can have more than that, so, but, and if you all have any, I've got a friend that's been through that procedure, and you can do quite a bit. They can do quite a bit, but I just want. I'll need glasses. I was told that from the very beginning with what my, that I would need, of course, glasses. Well, my eye is starting to burn a little bit. This morning I picked up the drops I'm supposed to be putting in my eyes. This is for the, operation that's complete, and I'll continue, then I'll have to go through the procedure of, for this eye over here once it, but you can, when they send you through, now you don't have to go through, the hospital's place there, you could go with somebody else, but when I've been at the hospital, I could see all the equipment they've got in, the place there. But I'm just going to go for the very basic. Oh, but if you have an idea, because I haven't really talked to anybody about that, I'm thinking since I spend so much time, it seems to me that I want the glasses for, sitting at the monitor and, just out, walking around or whatever. But if you maybe have been through it or something, rather, you might put in your 2 cents. Went crazy for about a day and a half or almost 2 days here because I moved some equipment around and then had trouble with, getting everything I needed hooked up right. I'm not really happy with this setup. I'd be more happy, I think, way I've had it in the past, and that would be over here. But I'm afraid to move anything. I don't want, because I was really, I think I explained it to you, or maybe you figured it out. I decided that my computer was just not working for what I needed it to do. So I decided that I would hook up a different computer here, and then I would have all the stuff that I wanted working. And that didn't work out. And now this is very simply hooked up. One monitor, one computer, the Dell, $140 or $120, whatever it is. There's not that much hooked up. And I think I would be much happier with it over here like I used to have it. Because here, I can face that way, but here's the corner. This is the end of the, right down here. This would be better, but I don't want to get myself in the same mess that I was in when I actually thought that I was having Alzheimer's, or not Alzheimer's. Well, anyway. But what it was, well, anyway, when I hooked the other computer up over here, and to get it working, I had to try to get it working correctly, and it wasn't working correctly. And then I found that I couldn't function because I took my Chromebook, which I hardly ever use, and I put the Chromebook there. Well, then I could not log into the Chromebook because I could not remember, and I didn't have it written down somewhere. Probably in the notes someplace it was written down, the Chromebook. But I couldn't contact anybody. All my things were, on this computer. On this computer, I just log in. I just hit, whatever, and it goes to it, And so I thought I was having and I got really stressed out because I couldn't contact anybody. Now on my cell phone, okay, I had just reset this up, but not completely, and I haven't got it set up yet completely. I'm holding this up, okay. So I couldn't even make a phone call to anybody. I had forgot to move over all my contacts, and I was really getting stressed out. And then finally a couple people told me, settle down, relax. So I wouldn't be doing the, because, when I hooked this back up, okay, I had everything I needed, And I'm only thinking about moving it back to here, where I've had it. But I'm a little afraid that, because I don't want to feel that way again. And, but knowing me, since I decided I want to move, that I probably will move it here in a little bit. If you don't hear from me again, you'll know what happened. If, it's not going to happen. I wish that I had, instead of investing in some of the stuff I did invest in, I wish I'd have gone with maybe an Apple, not the terribly, terribly expensive ones, but maybe one of the $400 or $500 ones, and then I have the monitors and I have the other stuff, but I wish I'd have done that, but that's too late now. Or even with a better Dell computer or something or other. And I don't think I'd had gone very far. And this was $120 if I'd have gone 200, maybe 250, with a refurbished one. I think that would have been fine. It would have been perky and everything. But, but I was kind of panicking out and knowing what it feels like to be, mentally challenged or something. Because I couldn't think of anything. I mean, when I couldn't just click and go to my email or click and go to wherever I wanted to go to, when I wasn't set up for that. So what I had to do is, disconnect the Chrome and go back to the my old setup. I think I've still got some parts that I purchased when I purchased this Dell computer. I think I've still got some SSD drives and extra memory and all kinds of stuff that I did not put in there. But I need to get the Xi taken care of. And somebody left actually a good comment. I replied to it. And because I'd made a video where I just talked about, I looked at the front page of CNN and just talked about it. And that person said, you know, you ought to just do that and stop talking about money and stop talking about, what was the other thing? Something else. Forget now what that was, but my thing since the very beginning has always been what's going on in my life. You know, when I was, when the wife was wanting a divorce, you know, I talked about that. When I was fighting racism at a hospital that I worked at, I talked about that. When, just everything that's, you know, and it changes, you know, over time. I don't feel right asking people, you know, for money, and I never have. It was kind of neat in the very beginning, since I was like one of the original. I didn't have to ask people for money; they just sent it. A bicycle. Somebody sent a dentist sent me a brand new bicycle. Let's see, brand new bicycle. A person sent me a camera, a nice camera. Of course, I purchased a bunch of cameras myself, you know. Somebody sent me, what was that? I can't remember all the stuff. What I would like to do, if there's enough time left for me to do it, I believe I'm correct that TikTok, I thought at the beginning it was very short, and I think it may have been, and then they expanded it. And I think they have actually expanded. I think I saw it that you can do for TikTok up to 20 minutes. Okay, that would work for me. Well, I mean, you know me. I talk a long time and get off on other subjects. But what I'd like to do is go, well, if I was going to go in what I'm thinking about doing, I really would like to have a new, better computer. But what I want to do is go back into my old videos, going back to 2005, and some of them just leave alone, but some of them, you know, edit them and put them together and keep it under 20 minutes. And because I've left information in, you know, a video, and then things have happened, a lot of things have happened. And then I have stuff in another video about, you know, and what I'd like to do is go through and like edit them and have the whole, you know, whole thing on this subject. I'm not very good at all at editing, but I guess I can learn. And just, you know, I've already paid for software for editing, you know, software. But I never go in and really pay for it. I mean, pay for it. I mean, I pay for it, but I don't. I need to sit down and apply. I want things to be simple. I think my thing from the very beginning is that computers should be simple. As you know, of course, some things, you know, if you're building a computer up to, you know, help with a heart, or surgery with heart, you know, that stuff. But so I'd like to go through and edit some of the stories. There's two shootings that happened at the hospital that I worked at. Dan Stagel got shot. He was in intensive care for a long time. Then he tried to come back to work, and he did. He came back to work, but they had to put him in a parking lot that was fenced in, where the guard booth was way up some stairs, and only employees parked there Monday through Friday. And my concern, and the other security officer, we had 3 that worked on the day shift there. He sat in the booth with the gun in his hand, and I and the other security officer that I worked with, Frank Sapola, we were concerned, like that parking lot filled up. It was for employees during the day, Monday through Friday, coming in, to the hospital to work. And it filled up pretty much. Maybe somebody occasionally saw the gate open and got in, maybe. But what we were afraid of is that, say that, the hospital called, let's say, a black male, and said, Mr. Brown, your wife is is in the hospital here getting ready to have her baby. And here the husband, wow, and he'd rush down. It's always hard to find parking at a hospital, and you'd see the parking lot there, jump in, pull in, probably no parking spaces if it wasn't right in the beginning. Pull in and just park, and then see a guard booth there and run up the stairs to ask the guard, where's the OB unit or something like that. And we were afraid that Dan would shoot the guy. And Dan finally, he went ahead and, took retirement. But not that, but not that case. I don't see any reason for rewriting that, at all. Editing it. Now the second shooting of John Galegas, that could definitely, I could edit that into, it'd be kind of difficult to do, but I could edit that in so that the entire story would be told. And I've never told the entire story. Almost, but there's more than the fact that, that a guy, came into the parking lot and the guy saw John Galegas and John Galegas saw him, and this guy was breaking into a car. I never told the fact that it was actually John Galegas' car. John was going, every year he would go on vacation down in Mexico to the, oh God, well that's, I think I mentioned it, so I could, doing the editing, to the, forget the name of the Indians, and he would take them, his car would be filled up and he would take them stuff down there. I don't think I talked about John Galegas and his girlfriend and my wife and myself, that we had dinner together, and there's a whole bunch, a whole bunch of stuff that would make, if I edit it, it would make one hell of a complete story that is 100% true. The 2 guys that shot Dan, they entered through the, well, I'm not going to do that story here. I mean, well, let me quickly do it. And I can't do it completely. That's why I would like to go in there and edit the entire thing. They came through a gate. This was a bad neighborhood. The parking lot on the top had, the type of razor wire that is used around military bases, And hospitals don't do that. They don't want to look like that, but that hospital, the nuns were willing to do it, I guess. And, but anyway, these 2 guys came from the church parking lot through into our parking lot. That gate, there should have been a gate there. And shot Dan Stagel. By the way, the two that shot Dan Stagel. Um, his name wasn't Don. Okay. Yeah, I need some refreshing. But believe me, there is uh, one of the two shooters got hired into the hospital. Would come out to the parking lot occasionally and ask me, "How's that guard doing that got shot? Is he doing okay? Does he remember anything?" Luckily, I had enough sense to, But all the truth is also, Dan did not remember anything about that. But anyway, several years later, the police were getting very close to, and so anyway, this one guy, he went to work at Trinity Lutheran Hospital, and then the second shooting happened which had nothing to do with, the second shooting took place, and that's when I told the hospital administrator there, because I had told him before, I don't want to go into the whole thing. Well, believe me, I told him before, it's going to happen again. If you don't take steps, you need to close this gate, no gate there, to the church parking lot. You need to get bulletproof vests for us, and you need to have a talk with us about what needs to be done, because it's going to happen again. It may not be a security officer that shot, of course it was. It may be a doctor, maybe a hospital administrator, which is what this guy, and I went through all this. Well, when the second shooting took place, I confronted, the hospital administrator, and I said, "Now are you going to do something?" And he laughed and said, "I don't know, Jim, maybe we'll get you guys a horse." And that was it. Yep, that was it for him. I sent it wasn't difficult. When the doctors pulled in, there was a doctor's parking lot. I went over, there was John Galegas' blood, and all of them went into the office of the hospital administrator, and he sent out his, I didn't really know what a suck ass was, or a kiss ass, or what, because my jobs had been, building railroad cars, building gigantic trucks, all types of things. I really didn't see those kind of people. I had my hood down with, but so I made sure that I stayed there until everything was done that I had said needed to be done and demanded that it would be done. And the assistant administrator of the hospital came out, acted like he was going to his car. I'd never seen him with his nose, or out of the ass of the hospital administrator, so he act like he was going to his car. And I knew right away when I saw him coming out, okay, now we're going to find out what they're going to do. And he came out and said, "Oh, Jim, by the way, we're going to get bulletproof vests for you. We're going to put a gate up here. We're going to do this and do that." And I stuck around until they did each one of those things, and they did them pretty quick. And then I went looking for work at another hospital 20 blocks away from, the St. Joseph Hospital, and I worked Saturday and Sunday, my first 2 days over there, because I was an experienced officer and they knew that. And so then Monday I was working, and at such and such a time you had to go to this parking lot where employees would come in and be parking. And so I was there, and guess who pulled up to the entrance? Yes, the shooter of Dan Stagel. Well, I don't know which one shot. One shot him and then was going to shoot him again, and the other guy said, "No, once is enough," But anyway, he pulled in and he said, "Jim, what are you doing here?" And I said, "Well, I came over here to keep a watch on you." And he went inside. He quit immediately, came out, got in his car, and left. Now, they did get him they get those two guys. You know, they shot somebody in that area of the hospital. Then they shot Dan Stagel. And then they went and shot a few days later. No, they tried to shoot. Well, okay, on Dan Stagel, they sprayed him with mace and then shot him. And then a few days later, in Kansas City, Kansas, two black guys go into a liquor store over there, and they spray a guy with mace, you know, and rob the place. And of course, I went to the hospital administrator, or the hospital director of security, and said, you know, we need to handle that. We need to first go over and tell the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department what we know and what we expect to be done. And the director of security, no. And I didn't go, of course, you know, in that case. Those were the guys, you know, and they came around then later and shot at a bowling alley there a few blocks from the hospital, and killed a security officer. And then later they went to a grocery store a few blocks from the hospital, and the guy there was an off-duty Jackson County police officer, and they shot him. And then the police, of course, got these guys. You know, one security officer being shot. A security officer at a bowling alley being shot. A Kansas City, Missouri police officer, or any police officer, or you know, something would have happened. You know, but anyway, I'd like to tell the entire story. I think it would be interesting, and then some other stories like that. We had at the hospital, the second hospital, we had a female doctor shot and killed. She had a boyfriend. She was from another country, one of the Yugoslavian countries or whatever. And she had a boyfriend who I think she met here. You know, I don't think he followed her. I'm not sure about that, but she decided she was going to go back to her home country, and I think he wanted her to stay in the good old USA, and he waited for her in the park. It was my day off. He waited in the parking lot for her, and when she pulled up, then he killed her. And many years later, I was in Miami, just happened to have the TV on. It wasn't something I ever watched. It was, I think, on and whatever, and they were talking, it's America's Most Wanted, yeah. And they were talking about this shooting of a doctor and whatever, and I was like, well, that sounds like, and then of course I saw that it was, you know. And they never got him as of then. I doubt they have him now. I mean, you know, that was quite a few years after that. Also at that hospital, the same St. Joe Hospital. No, it was not. It was at Trinity Lutheran Hospital. I was working over there, and when I left St. Joe Hospital, because I wasn't going to give them the benefit of that asshole, the hospital administrator, of firing me. Yeah, he would have wanted to, but he wasn't going to be around very long, and I knew that he wasn't going to be around very long. And sure enough, they were building a new hospital for the nuns in a nice neighborhood, you know, a nice hospital out there in a nice white, let's be fake, you know, maybe not fake, let's be honest. And I knew he wouldn't be going, because he was an asset. He was an asset. He was an asshole, but he was an asset in that black neighborhood. And but him handling that shooting situation with John Galegas, he wasn't going. You know, he wasn't going. So, and I knew that, and I told like when I told the security officers, well, you know, as soon as the bulletproof vest and that kind of stuff comes in, I'll be going to another hospital. And the young guy, real young guy, security officer, he said, "Oh, Jim, it's going to be so great when we move to the new hospital, you know, out there and everything." And I said, "You do know that you'll be unarmed out there." And almost all of the hospitals where security were armed. It was Children's Mercy Hospital, I think, was not, which is kind of strange. And then the other one was, and I didn't know about their religion, that they were opposed to guns or whatever. So that hospital wasn't. I think there was another, but all the rest of us, we were all armed. But anyway, I told us, you know, I said, well, you know, oh, it's going to be so great. They're going to have sergeant, because we didn't have any. The nuns were not going to pay any money for a sergeant. You know what I mean? They wanted as little money spent as possible. I mean, they were okay paying for respiratory therapists and lab technicians and all that kind of stuff, but they didn't want to pay, you know, any more than that type of stuff. But anyway, I told this, you know, young security officer, he says, "It's going to be so great." And I said, "Well, you do know you're going to be unarmed when you move." "Oh, no." So then he came back to me. He actually went and talked to the hospital, and he came back and he says, "You know, Mr. So-and-so says that we're going to be armed." And I said, "Well, why did you ask so-and-so?" "Well, he's going out there." And I said, "No, he's not. Here, he's an asset to the, you know, to the nuns and to the neighborhood. Out there, he's a liability. They, you know, that's a white neighborhood out there. It's just the way it is, you know." And sure enough, when they moved, they took the guns away from those security officers. And you know the other thing, and I want to mention that. Now I'll save that. I got a little something else about that. But I want to try to do those stories, and I may never get them done, and that's unfortunate, because they're real stories. You wouldn't be making a movie from them. Although it would be kind of interesting if they would make a movie about that. Who should they get to play me? Somebody handsome. Yeah. So, anyway, okay. Not sure if you can hear my grown son talking to his mother, my ex-wife. Anyway, oh man, I need to take an naproxen. Where is it? Okay, it's behind it. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching.